On like 3 or 4 occasions, I heard a growl that made me a little bit concerned. I'm not gonna say I'm scared, but I have been sitting by the fire with my big ass machete. I don't know what good that would do, but if I have to kick some animal ass, at least I'm not going into the fight empty-handed. So my first night in Costa Rica was rather uneventful, and that is typically a good thing. Now, it was a bit colder than I thought, especially when combined when the rain and elevation kind of made it feel more like Colorado than the tropics of Central America. I was dead tired and only had an hour or two of sunset, so there wasn't much happening at camp. But today I had a lot more on the agenda, including an unwelcome visitor at my camp that night. So I left behind the overlanding haunt of Caprina Land and took some back roads to reach the paved highway. Today's goal was to take a scenic route and a back way to Lake Arenal. Costa Rica may be a tiny country, but even short distances here can take quite a while. A 130-mile drive may only take a couple hours back in the States on freeways. But down here, that could take 5 or 6 hours. Hell, it could take all day when you factor in road conditions. You're driving maybe 30 miles an hour. They got cows on the road. Plus, you want to stop and catch some sights. So far, driving in Costa Rica was nowhere nearly as bad as I thought it would be. Sure, it was slow, but not necessarily dangerous or sketchy. Granted, this was my second day driving here, but I did find that going a little bit slower and taking a little bit extra caution went a long way. I grabbed some gallo pinto, which is the main dish and a primary staple down here. Reaching a height of 5,300 feet, Arenal is one of the most notable volcanoes in all of Central America. A major eruption destroyed the nearby town of Tabacon in 1968, and between then and 2010, Arenal erupted constantly. While the volcano is now dormant, the fertile lands near its slopes offer prime jungles for visitors to explore. I hiked the trails near the park and visited the La Fortuna waterfall, a 200-foot cascade that spills from jagged rocks to the lush green jungle below. I scouted the iOverlander app for a remote site, or wild camp as they call it in Costa Rica. Wild camping is basically our form of boondocking back in the States, sort of dispersed camping. There was supposed to be this epic site on the shores of the lake near the town of El Castillo, but high waters would have had me camping about 20 feet from the paved road, and that was far from the natural experience I was seeking. So I read about this park called Parque Ecológico Arenal. It's got a fancy website, tours, and all these Instagram photos, kind of making me think this was too touristy of a place that I like to go to. But because it was the rainy season, there was virtually no one here, meaning I had hundreds of acres to myself adjoining the national park, which really had thousands of more acres. So after driving a mile into the park to find my campsite, I was pretty much all in the jungle by myself, which was exactly the experience I was seeking. I have the volcano right there behind me, and I am camped right here. Pretty natural area. There is only, I think there's one other group camping in a ground tent over there, and I got this spot, which is pretty awesome. I hear tons of howler monkeys. There were some spider monkeys down there. Supposedly a ton of wildlife down here. Some trails up there going to the volcano. I can hear the howler monkeys. So pretty awesome spot. And I'm just having a beer and chilling out for a minute because it's been such a long day. But stopped and got some sausage at a tienda that I'm gonna whip up later. Got the whole rooftop tent set up. Got my windows open, so hopefully it should be pretty cool tonight in the jungle. And they had a shed with some dry firewood down there, so I think I'm gonna put me a fire right here. Pretty awesome place. So this is technically an organized campground, but really it's super natural. There's no one here, no electricity, none of that crap that kind of ruins it. And man, I think it was like $7. So gonna be a pretty awesome night. And hope to hear some wildlife, and gonna wake up early tomorrow morning. I think I might try to hike further up the volcano. This is going to be an amazing night. Howler monkeys are going crazy. Freaking monkeys all over. Wildlife's going nuts. The volcano has cleared. I've been here a number of times, and it is always difficult to see the volcano because there's always clouds over it. And knock on wood, it's been clear the whole time. Birds, macaws, I don't know birds, whatever. Some kind of fancy bird over there. Sun setting. I think the other people skinned out, so it is just me, and this is what I like. At night, the jungle comes to life with the sounds of buzzing insects, yelping frogs, shrieking birds, and rustling bushes. At times, the sound can almost be deafening. Some people do this fancy overland cooking, which I do think it is cool when you got the shit and gear to do it, but sometimes you just get what's available and work with what you got. Keep it simple. My chicken chorizo sausage got some kind of seasoning in it. Tortillas. Salsa Lozano. Cucumber. Whole bunch of imperial beer, which is the beer of Costa Rica. There you go. Nice little jungle dinner out here, all alone, and I think I'm gonna eat up and then make a fire. That's good. Oh, fuck. So the bugs are starting to get bad. They were coming by the light, so I shifted the light over there. Now I'm kind of eating in darkness, but all the bugs over there are away from me. Fortunately, mosquitoes are not too bad tonight. I did put on some DEET, which helps a little bit. But knock on wood, I have been in jungles all over the world, in Latin America and Asia, and mosquitoes, at least in my opinion, in places I've been, they're not too bad. In fact, I would say they're worse at home in New Orleans, where I live. The jungle has been very alive tonight because it is rainy season. Everything is lush and green. All the animals are always alive in the rainy season, which is why it is such a great time to come. Holler monkeys been hollering, all kinds of noises, all kinds of stuff. I have spent Many nights in the jungle, but giving all the growling and shit I hear out here tonight, this is how I'm sitting by the campfire. On like 3 or 4 occasions, I heard a growl that made me a little bit concerned. I've spent many nights in jungles. I have never been scared. But having said that, this growling concerns me, and I have never heard anything like that. I don't know if it is some kind of javelina type pig. I don't know if tapirs growl. I don't know if it's a jaguar. All those animals are around here. I have been sitting by the fire with my big ass machete. I don't know what that would do. And truthfully, I don't think there would be any animal that would come up here and attack me. Just to be safe, I think I'm going to climb up in the rooftop tent and call it a night. Probably going to bring my machete up there. I don't know what good that would do, but if I have to kick some animal ass, at least I'm not going into the fight empty-handed. So, yeah, that's it. I think we're going to call it quits. Wake up early, make a nice cup of coffee, and hike up to the volcano as far as we can get. Good night. It's a beautiful morning. Volcano is still fully visible. You can see it back there over my shoulder. And enjoying my coffee. This is a beautiful park. So I'm the only one out here. It's just a beautiful morning. Looks like it's going to be good weather. I think I'm going to enjoy my coffee, have a banana, a little breakfast, and then I think I'm going to hike up the volcano. Can't find any information on how long the hike is, so I do have to get back on the road today. I don't know if this is an all-day ordeal or if it's like an hour or two. I don't know. I'm guessing it's like a couple-hour hike, so we'll see. That's the source of the growling. Little javelinas. I think the javelinas were around this hole. I don't know if they're going in there. Now, sorry to interject for a second. These pigs were definitely grunting and growling, but that was just not quite the growl that I heard last night. What I heard last night on 3 to 4 occasions was much deeper and louder, and could have been a jaguar. It's possible. There are jaguars in the area and it's their habitat, but they are extremely rare to see. In 20 years of traveling to Latin America, I have never personally seen a jaguar, but this could have been one. Problems with not knowing how long the trail is I have no idea how long it's going to take to get there or exactly how far I am. Of course, I can find my way back. The trail is well marked, but I think I see the volcano through the jungle right there, so it should be close. One of the great things about coming out here during the rainy season is that the jungle is so lush and thick. I mean, it is just, it's hard to see, but there is a deep ravine down there, and it's just all covered by greenery. I can't even tell. It's like a big cave down there or something, but it's beautiful. So quiet out here. I am the only one on the trail. All right, so I made it to the lava fields of the, I think it was the 2010 eruption here at Arenal. I've been here a couple times in the 90s. I think one time in the early 2000s, and then I came here. My wife and I came here for our honeymoon to La Fortuna in 2006. And when we were here in 2006, the volcano was still erupting. You could see lava from the springs at night. It was amazing. They've had a number of eruptions over the years. I think it's still kind of active, but has been, hasn't been erupting. There's no lava been spewing out for quite a while. But as far as I am aware, this is still one of the highest parts you can hike to. I know in the national park, you're not allowed to hike to the crater. In some other places, you can hike to the craters of active volcanoes and look down into them. I have hiked a number of volcanoes in Nicaragua, in South America. Just went to Mount Vesuvius in Italy last year. But none are as exciting as when you're in remote jungles. I think I hiked Concepcion in Nicaragua and Ometepe. That one was active. I went to another one in Nicaragua where we looked down into the volcano, which is quite scary. But this is pretty cool. So these are remnants of the lava rocks that have spewed out in the 2010 eruption, and they solidify. In all the times I've been here, this volcano is very difficult to see. It's kind of crazy that I've got such a good view in the rainy season. Usually it's covered in clouds and just really hard to get a glimpse. When you do, it's for a few minutes and then it's gone, but it's visible the whole time I've been here. So after a 2 or 3 hour hike, I made it back to camp just before noon. I would have loved to have stayed here longer, but I only had a week to explore the central part of the country and get down to the coast for some beach time. It was time to pack up camp and get back on the road.